Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Whoa, that was a weird way to say everybody. To Tattoo Homewreckers.
It sounded totally normal.
It sounded strange. If I'm sitting kind of this way, it's because the dogs are in between us. We've got 2 dogs now that are sitting in between us. Guinness is not going to like it if I'm just going to move. Welcome to Tattoo Homewreckers. This is a podcast where we talk about tattoos, life, and everything in between. My name is Callista. This is Bailey. And right here I have Lou sitting right next to me. And we've also got Guinness, but you can kind of see her nose.
You little snoot down here.
We've also got Guinness. So if we're sitting weird, that's why. If we sound weird, it's because we're still a little bit sick. Mm-hmm. Officially don't have COVID anymore, thank God. But holy cow, I just need to sneeze out all of the phlegm and disgustingness. If you see me cough, I'm sorry. That's just how it is. Last episode we did was just silly questions, and this episode is a little bit more painful.
And to go off screen.
You okay?
I just got dog fur all
over you.
I picked her up. Now I'm itchy.
Do you have a gender?
No.
Is it itchy? Still?
Yeah, itchy. A giant ball of itchy.
Giant ball of itchy.
What's your gender?
Well, it's not Natalie Portman in Black Swan. I would just say my gender right now is a dying candle.
A dying candle? Yeah. Oh, no.
I'm running out of wax. About to burn out.
I'm finding these questions again. Okay.
That's okay. No worries.
Excuse me. Sorry. Still sick. Mm-hmm. Lots of throat clearing is going to happen. So I apologize. Also, there's just fucking fur everywhere.
You're just so itchy now.
So these are 21. I don't know that we'll make it through all 21, but these are 21 journal prompts to stop self-sabotaging. Mm-hmm. I have not pre-read all of them. I've glanced at 1 or 2, and you guys know how I am. I'm just like a impulsive, balls deep kind of gal. I'm like, all right, this seems good. Let's go. Okay, so what are some common self-sabotaging behaviors or patterns that I engage in? So you are the I.
That I engage in?
Yeah.
Oh, common.
Wait, did you want to answer this for each other?
No. I would rather answer it for
exactly.
ourselves. Common self-sabotaging things that I engage in. I will, this is classic. I will have a picture of how my day is supposed to go, and if it diverts from that, then I won't bother to try to get back on the bandwagon for things. For example, like working out. If I have this it's like a very strict idea of what it's supposed to look like, and if I don't immediately work out after I come back from work, or if I don't work out like when I wake up, or et cetera, or if I'm like 5 minutes late from my schedule of when I was supposed to be in the gym, I just won't do it. So I think that's a really great form of self-sabotaging because it plays into perfectionism.
Yeah, it's either got to be perfect or it's not going to be at all.
Yeah, and that's mega annoying. So I'm working on that because I think that it's important to just, that whole 10-minute thing has been really helping me out because yesterday I was like, okay, I'm going to work out for 10 minutes, and then I ended up
Can you tell them what
20.
the 10-minute thing is for anyone who doesn't know?
Yeah, we're doing a friend group exercise that we would like to do, not just in the friend group, but for our community around the shop and the studio and for you guys as well, to build a better, like, I shouldn't say a healthier lifestyle because I think that's overplayed, but a better connection with your mind and body. And part of that is movement. So we've assigned different tasks for every day. And one of the tasks is conscientious movement for 10 minutes. So by conscientious, it's supposed to be like targeting a certain thing. So it could be targeting your abs. It could be targeting whatever. For the most part, it's very loose. Again, it's just to get 10 minutes of conscious movement in. And it's not like, oh, you do 3 reps and then you take 5 minutes of rest and then you do another 3 heavy reps. No, it's like 10 minutes of like actual accumulative movement. So that's what we're doing.
And that's helping?
It's helping, yeah, because I'm in there for 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, I can commit to 10 minutes. Then I'm in there for 20. And I'm like, oh, that actually went by really fast. I could probably do another 10 minutes of this movement and et cetera, and so forth.
So it like helps remove that pressure of it being perfect?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's
nice.
I think it's, for me, I need to keep reminding myself it's less about being perfect and more about getting the ball rolling. Just doing it. And by doing it, I know a lot of perfectionists out there, myself included, I think I have to do it a certain way, otherwise it's not right. But for right now, as far as like mentality goes, I just need to get started. So
yeah,
that's one of mine.
Okay, so some of my common self-sabotaging behaviors would be getting high and overeating.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I know what I'm doing when I do it. Because then I wake up the next morning and I feel like shit. And I'm like, you wonder why you're not lighter on the scale? Oh, yeah. Because you decided to overeat last night.
Absolutely.
And so and it comes from a place of like self-sabotage.
Yeah. Do you have a way that you could avoid that?
No.
That's okay. I think
I still haven't figured that out.
I think
besides just not putting candy in the house.
Besides not putting candy in the house, for me the miso soup packets have been really helping out with that because sometimes I just need something warm to eat. That's not tea, and miso soup feels like I'm actually eating. You know?
Miso soup packets are super dope because they do help me when I'm like, oh, I just want something warm and I don't want a cup of coffee.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's essentially just being like, hey, it's hard because like you can't pre-cut cucumbers without them getting dry, but it's like reaching for those snacks. And I guess, yeah, the like thing that's helping is if I say, okay, how are you going to feel about this tomorrow? And like thinking about like keeping my eye on it, because I know when I do it, it's purely self-sabotage. And it's because I'm so much built around like community. So I want everyone to succeed, and I still have a lot of trauma around because of like the childhood like dynamics I had was that if you're the best at something, you are open for attack.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be the leanest person in the house. I don't want to be the skinniest one. I don't want to be the most fit one because that leads me open for attack. And it plays into my empathy really bad. That then because growing up in that household, if you succeeded, it means that you were used as a metric for others to compare to. So then that's that whole, like, my lack of, like, I don't want to be first place ever.
Yeah.
I'm always down to be second place. I never want to be first. And that's the same thing that happens is that, like, as Caboose isn't making healthy enough choices to maintain, like, the lifestyle and body composition he wants, then I feel like by doing that, I'm only further ostracizing like him and harming our relationship.
Yeah, and ostracizing yourself in a way too. That's super hard. It's really complex.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly complex thing to go after.
Yeah.
And I wish I could help.
Well, it's where like for me, I'm so based in that community. Like for me, a lot of like self-healing comes from community healing. Is so like when you started tracking, then it gave me permission to be able to track, to be like, okay, cool, I can do that now.
Totally.
And then as you're getting fitter, I can do that. But it still is this like wedge between him and I that I have to like adjust and be like, hey, like the more I'm happy with myself, also the more I'm aware of how unhappy other people are.
Totally. Yes.
So it's a weird, like, complex thing of like, hey, don't succeed too much because you're gonna like upset people if you do.
I feel the same
and you
way
make yourself
about like
a target.
I feel that way about dating sometimes too, where it's like I at this point have like been out of the matrix for so long that I'm not willing to settle for a partner that is going to be mean to me or is not going to support me or like doesn't have a specific set of like I know people get weird about the word expectations, but like expectations for themselves of like, you know, I'm going to hold myself accountable to this. I'm going to, you know, continue to chase after what I want to do. So I feel that way too, where it's like, oh gosh, the more determined I get about something, I do get a little bit afraid that like, oh, well, you know, that just means you're going to be single for longer. But
well, and
it's not really a bad thing.
It's hard because it's not like, I mean, like in Caboose's sense, like he isn't mean to me about it. But it is that like the more dedicated you become around a goal, the more you can see other people not doing that. Yeah. And like for me, the more dedicated I am, the more dedicated I need the people in my life to be. Otherwise, it becomes this like wedge where it's like, okay, so I'm making these choices. What choice are you making? It's why like you and I, our friendship, like allows each one of us to like grow and get better because I'm like, oh, your goal is to fucking work 4 days a week. all right, bitch, why'd you schedule someone on a 5th day?
Absolutely.
And like we hold each other accountable for those things where it's like, hey, look, these are our goals. And so like loving you means supporting you in your endeavors. But that also means making sure that I am a complete person enough to show up. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be like, oh, well, I feel bad because I'm succeeding here and you're not.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Ooh. Jumping right into it.
When did I first start noticing these self-sabotaging behaviors, patterns, and how have they affected me throughout my life?
Oh, wow.
I guess I kind of just tapped on that.
Yeah, you did.
I already answered that question.
Damn.
I didn't read that one beforehand either.
Got a two-parter. I think first noticing it has definitely been like I would say a year or so ago, but like actively working on it are two very different things. Because I think it's really easy to notice something and then continuously to subconsciously slide back into those habits. So I think I've been more actively actually working on it within the past couple of months. Yeah. And even then, the past couple of months seems really generous. But yeah, I think it's affected me my entire life. A lot of the reason why I am not in the place where I, in air quotes, want to be. Like, I'm grateful for where I am right now. But like when I dream about like my dream physique or like my dream routine even, I'm not there yet because I get in the way of that. And that's one of the ways I get in the way of it. So that perfectionism. Nice. Yeah.
Perfect. How does not achieving your goals make you feel?
Oh, not achieving my goals makes me feel shitty. It makes me feel really, there's a grief in that. I used to feel shame and feel like a mega piece of shit. And now I don't. I've released myself from feeling like shit if I don't accomplish a goal because I don't think it helps anybody. There isn't, that's not to say that there's no grief behind it. Obviously, it's like sad, but I think I've talked about this on the podcast before where you work for your results. So when I stepped on an in-body scan, there was a part of me that was super angry at myself and then a part of me that was super sad at myself. But then after finally experiencing those emotions and like processing them, I came to the realization that I worked for these results. You know what I mean? And I ran across a quote recently on the internet that was saying, choose your difficulty, right? Staying in a relationship is hard. Breaking up with someone is hard. Pick your hard. Make a decision. Being fit is hard, but being an unfit is also hard. So pick. Which one do you want? Which level of difficulty do you want? Both are hard. So yeah, I think I used to feel like shit about it. I let myself grieve now, but now it's more so like whatever feelings that you feel, use that as fuel to get better, to chase after that goal regardless. It's okay to fail. Yeah. It's part of the process. How do you feel about not accomplishing your goals?
I would say that when I don't achieve my goals, the first place I go to is, well, you deserve that. Like, it's still that place of like that childhood, like wound around like, well, what made you think that you could do that? Right. And then that tends to be the fuel for me to be like, hey, we wouldn't talk to other people like that. So that's not your inner narrative. Like that's whether that be the inner child trying to protect me. Yeah. Or if that is just simply someone else's voice, like regurgitating those words in my brain, then I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to prove that like I can do this. And just by achieving something means that I deserved it because I put in the work. So, but that's my first like go-to thought is always like, well, what made you think you could do that? Of course you don't. That's not you.
Totally.
And so it's very like diminishing.
Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's rough. Yeah. I think it's important to obviously feel those feelings and process them. But so long as you're coming out the other end going, okay, well.
Well, I think you have to take the feelings that you have and then whether they're good feelings or bad feelings, like feel them, but don't let them like, you know, don't sit on them forever. Yeah. And that way you acknowledge them and then say, okay, so this is my inspiration. So whether or not my inspiration is a good feeling, whether it's like, you know, like I've talked about it before, people confessing their fitness sins, which like that's a huge like thing that I really love about being leaner and having muscle mass is that I like for people to be able to start that conversation. Yeah. Because of this outward appearance. So then that is like a motivator, but also another motivator is that I don't want to have the same health issues that like my biological family had.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because of their life choices and their like fitness levels.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to have those. So it's like you can use both. Like same as I don't want to have that feeling of every morning waking up and not feeling comfortable in my body.
Yeah, totally.
Whereas I can make that choice to then feed it what makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like using all of those to like help you prevent self-sabotage. What is making me not take action on my goals?
Oh, for a while for me, it was the missing ingredient, which was being serious. Because for years I said, okay, how cool would it be if I just like took nutrition really seriously? Like what if I just got really serious about my nutrition and really just honed in and locked in on that? And I woke up one day and I was like, oh, the missing ingredient is me actually being serious. What does being serious mean? That means taking it seriously. So I think that was the missing ingredient is being serious about it. What about you?
Hold up. It says, is it a belief I have or a hidden fear? Is the rest of that.
Is it a belief I have or a hidden fear? So is that a
belief or a hidden fear that prevented you from taking it seriously?
I think it was probably a belief. The belief that I could achieve those goals without taking it seriously. You know what I mean? Like, well,
I think we've all been there.
Absolutely. Like, well, maybe if I just kind of chose one healthy meal out of this entire week, then I'll magically be super fucking lean and so fucking muscular. That's not how it works.
If I just watch YouTube videos on people working out, I'll suddenly be in shape.
Then I'll be super, I'll be in shape and I'll feel good. Yeah,
I was so guilty of that for so long. I'm like, I'm just going to watch people like actually working out, or like I'm going to watch people do pole.
Yeah.
And hope that through osmosis, I just know how to do pole.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's one thing to watch to get inspired. And it's another to realize that you're actually replacing the hormones that you would have gotten if you just did it yourself.
The same thing happened to me with like watching videos on like what I eat in a day, like all that crap of like healthy meals. And then I would never make the meal.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, so you're consuming this content, but not actually like doing anything with it.
Yes. And I think a lot of people are guilty of that because you told me about that too. Like the chemical reaction in your brain of seeing someone work out is the exact same as if you actually did it. So that's where it can get a little like scary because you're just like replacing and not actually making the work or doing the effort. So yeah, I think that's my answer.
That question originally was, what is making me not take action on my goals? That would once again come down to my environment and the fact that I need to be around people that also do that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because I am a monkey see, monkey do, or in this case, a monkey see, monkey don't.
Monkey don't. Period. Was it fear?
What?
Was it fear or belief that was prohibiting you from
It'll
doing
be
this?
The fear around making myself like I guess the message in there to me is what makes me think I can do it if no one in my life is doing it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And also like I said, it's that opening up of the like, okay, so when you do this, eyes are on you. Like people are like, oh, okay, so you're eating a salad. So you're doing that.
Yeah. You're opening yourself up for attack, like you said.
Yeah, you're opening yourself up.
Yeah.
So then that's like really hard. And that's part of the like hard part too about being in like a hetero like cis relationship is that you're like, okay, so in my mind, and this is very like gendered and not accurate, I'm very much like, okay, so you're the man, because that's what Caboose identifies as. So therefore you should be fitter and stronger than me.
Right. Yeah.
And I should be, and like him and I talked about it where I'm like, I should be like chasing you. And then what happened was that I got fitter and then now there's not like competition.
Right.
So now I'm like, well, if we work out together, I'm beating him and it's not fun.
Yeah.
Because I also like that like fun competition of like, hey, I want someone to chase. And like when him and I talked about that, he was like, yeah, you're not like you've never wanted to be a big fish in a small pond.
Mm-hmm.
Like you always want to be on the smaller side. So you have people to like a pack to run with and pack to chase.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, that's really hard for me to be like, oh no, currently like in my relationship, I'm fitter and that's not fun.
Yeah, totally.
And it like prevents me from being like, okay, let's fucking go after it. Although since he did tell me he's into muscle mommies, that has given me new encouragement to be like, oh, let's see how big I can be.
Absolutely. Let's see how big we can get. I'm trying to be like lean beef patty.
Dude, yeah, she's awesome.
She's so cool. I have the biggest crush on her. So cool. Okay.
It's crazy because it's like neck up. She is it Velma? Is that her name?
From
neck up, Velma from Scooby-Doo.
She does look like Velma.
Neck down, He-Man.
Yeah, totally.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah, she's...
At first I was like, I don't like the haircut. And now I'm like, no, I think I love it because it's Velma
with the glasses.
With the glasses. So it's Velma with fucking He-Man body. It's amazing.
It's the coolest thing ever. She really inspires the fuck out of me to just get after it.
Yep. Okay. What is one small thing I can do today to move closer to my goal?
Oh, work out. Bitch. I gotta work out. I also, you know what?
Don't say that with more enthusiasm. Oh, work out. Work out.
I need to take my collagen and creatine because my joints have been fucked up recently. Yeah. They've been fucking awful. I'm going stir crazy. And I know that working out will help. And I worked out for the first time since being sick yesterday, and it helped so much. So I'm excited to work out. Yeah.
I love that. You? Mine's going to be to not overeat today.
Nice. I
did so good up until like 10 o'clock last night. And then I was like, I'll piece of candy.
Yeah. Starving. So. I know. I was starving yesterday too. And it was definitely because of the weed. I was like, fuck, why am I so hungry?
Do I think I'm worthy of success? Why or why not?
Oh, yeah. I think I'm worthy of success. I think I'm worthy of success because I work for it. Point blank, period. I don't know why I'm so calm saying that. Normally, that question would make me cry a lot.
That's growth, baby.
That's growth.
Mm-hmm.
Bitch, that is growth. Yeah, I'm worthy of success because I'm willing to... No, I'm not... Being willing to put in the work and putting in the work are two different things. A lot of the time, I'm not willing to put in the work. Why do you think I'm so excited to work out? Part of that is just me convincing myself that I'm excited to work out. I trust, but I'm picking my hard, and that's the hard that I want to pick. So
I love that.
What is something that you can move or do to accomplish your goals?
Oh, did I not answer that?
I don't think you did. Did you?
Oh, yeah. I said not overeat.
Oh, you did. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I asked you the next question.
My bad.
About whether or not I'm worthy of success. And I'm going to say it's the same answer where I'm like, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Because I will work for it. Yeah. Some of the first signs of my self-sabotaging behavior are... What's some of the first signs?
Some of the first signs is me not working out. Yeah, it's really big. My therapist is really good about calling me out. How's the self-care? Have you worked out? Like, is like always the second question that she asks because she knows it's such a big part of me. So yeah, I'm not working out. I think also not eating well and not moving. That's the biggest signs of self-sabotage for me. Oh, Guinness had something to say about that. What about you?
Hiding food. Yeah, that's when it gets...
That's when you're like, uh-oh.
I would say hiding food or picking fights are my two. Yeah. But like now I know that I'm like about to self-sabotage.
Hello. Yeah.
So.
No, that makes sense.
Okay. Most of these other questions. Okay. When was the last time I achieved a goal I set myself for? These are going to be the last little bundle.
The last time I achieved a goal?
Yes. And then why do I think I achieved that goal? This is the last question. Because the rest of them are just repeating.
What goal did I achieve? Well, I told myself I'd be more serious about nutrition. And at first that started off with having one extra protein item a day. And then that completely turned into me just tracking my macros. Just full swing. I was going to track. Sorry. Guinness is asking for access to the living room. So Lou's letting her out. But yeah, I would say that's the most recent one that I achieved. What was the second part of that question? How do
Why do I think I achieved that goal?
Oh, why?
Yeah.
Ooh, I think a lot of it comes down to the 32-degree thing. A lot of it was timing for me because I think that with certain ideas or concepts in my mind, they have to stew in my brain for really long. Sometimes it's a year. Sometimes it's 2 years before I'm actually willing to take it seriously, or like before I'm actually able to see what I'm missing in order to accomplish that goal. So that's what I was missing, just time and circumstance.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because I think that, like, we've had a lot of growth. Obviously, we say this a lot. We've been doing this podcast for over a year, and we say that we've had a lot of growth. And I think that a lot of things get sat on because they take that time to like digest, or like in the 32 degrees like analogy, it takes time to go from wherever you were to get up to 31 degrees to actually start to watch the ice cube melt at 32 degrees. And I think that a lot of people assume because nothing's happening for a period of time that nothing is actually like happening. Whereas as long as you are still, you know, even if it's just in the back of your mind, you are still learning about all of that. You are still learning about, we'll use nutrition as the example. Yeah. Because you said that you wouldn't take it seriously. You were still learning about all of that. And then it just hit that 32 degrees switch and was like, all right, let's fucking go.
Yeah. There's a lot of, and there's so many aspects around it. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to like anything in the fitness industry, there is so much to learn. I can't wait till one day I'll learn about like what hypertrophy. I don't know what any of that means, but one day I'll learn. I've been hearing about it a lot. Just watching.
Hypertrophy is just going to the extreme like level of a muscle. So like doing 100 curls because then your muscle gets genuine fatigue. So it's like not stopping on that muscle until it hits genuine fatigue, and then you do 5 more reps, and that's hypertrophy. Is like the large rep sets for typically moderate to lightweight, so that way you can get in a ton. It's that idea of time under tension is how you build muscle mass.
Is that an efficient way to build muscle mass?
It is an efficient way. It's why a lot of, come for me, I know you're gonna fucking come for me on this statement, it's why a lot of bodybuilders are big. So you build volume that way. You don't necessarily build a lot of strength.
That's what I'm confused about. It's so crazy because that's a relatively new concept to me, is the fact that you can look strong, but not actually like, you're strong. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but like, your 1 rep max is not going to be that of, say, like an Olympic weightlifter who works in that range of like 1 rep maxes, or a power lifter who works in that range. And that's what you have to remember, is it's different. Like you have those different aesthetics. So if you're like, hey, I'm going for a bodybuilder aesthetic, like lean beef patty, then you want to be doing a lot of more hypertrophy, which also means a lot more time in the gym.
I know. Oh my God. They spend like 3 hours at the gym.
Yes, because each rep you're doing for 60 to 80 to 100 reps. So it takes a lot more time.
Yeah. And that's where I think a lot of it is to just being realistic with your schedule, the amount of time that you have. Because as much as I do want like that bodybuilder physique, I am very well aware to know that like I love working. Working out is fun. I love working. I love doing the socials. I love like doing all the artwork. I love tattooing. I love being in the studio. I love doing events. And so I need to be really realistic with that. Is like, okay, so I want a bodybuilder physique. However, I don't want to put the time into that. And that's also okay. Yeah. You know?
Well, I think it's about being realistic around those goals. Because I think that's where a lot of people get fucked up, is that like, yeah, I want to be fucking huge. But I also know that it's going to take a long time because I don't have the time to work out for 6 hours a day. I don't have the time to work out for 3 hours a day, because I, like you, also love working and love being in the studio and love everything that we're taking the time that we could be just building muscle and putting into building our little baby empire.
Yeah. Like pouring it into our clients, you know? So yeah, that's my long-winded.
I love that.
Sarah, what was the last goal that you've accomplished?
I fixed our accounts.
Woo! Yes, you did.
Because we hired an accountant and he more than botched it. And it
so much money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
So much.
And I had to go through and teach myself QuickBooks. But we are reconciled up through this month. So we'll do the reconciliations once a month. So that way at the end of the year, they're just like done. Because my future goal is to give my tax accountant give her our accounts on January 1st. So that way next year we don't have to file for an extension.
Fuck yeah.
Because that's just me being the like, I want to be a straight A student. And I'm like, no, I want to be a straight A student with my taxes as well and get them turned in on time.
Oh, period. Which, before you guys freak out, everyone who owns a small business pretty much applies for an extension.
Yeah, and that's totally fine for them.
Yeah.
I am a person that I want it done as soon as possible so that way I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great goal. What do you think helped you accomplish said goal?
Sheer stubbornness.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what you need.
I spent 2 full days on it because every time I would think that I had like found everything, then I would find something else, then I would find something else. And so I spent 2 complete days where I started at like 9 o'clock in the morning and I didn't finish until like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, just in front of the computer, like just trying to figure out all of this stuff. And once again, teaching myself like QuickBooks. Yeah, so just determination of like, fuck it, I have to get it done.
Totally.
So
I think self-sabotage is this is a hard topic, mostly because a lot of it is like subconscious. Do you agree?
I agree, but I think that's the importance of having conversations around it.
Yeah.
That's what, like, we were, I don't remember what day because all the days are blurred together. But the other night, we were all sitting around essentially talking about self-sabotage and how to create an environment where people can pursue goals. Yeah. And, like, how we could help Caboose help himself on his physical goals. Yeah. Because he wants to get into, like, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu again, and he wants to, like, be leaner. And like creating an environment in which we can all succeed and help each other, but also be able to like, be able to, I guess, like be self-reliant, but also have that support structure.
Totally. Yeah. No, I forget that like our original talk was mostly on accountability, but I feel like a lot of self-sabotage falls into that where, how do we give people the motivation to keep their eye on the target? And I think self-sabotage is one of the easiest way to get your eye off the target. That's for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And like him and I just want to cover this really fast and we'll sign off. Him and I were talking about that because he was saying how he wants to talk about it in therapy where he wants to work on self-worth so that way he knows that he's worth achieving these goals. And I think that it's a chicken egg situation, that I think that you have to build self-worth through achieving goals.
I agree.
And so I don't think you can hijack it to be like, I'm worth achieving these goals, because a lot of goals take persistence and hard work. Yeah. And like telling myself that I'm worth it is, at least for me and the people that I know, is not enough to achieve it.
I think it's also hard because attaching your self-worth to anything outside of yourself is really difficult. And that goes for accomplishments. That goes for goals. Because again, the second you attach yourself to these goals and the second you fail is the second you lose all your self-worth. And then it becomes a vicious cycle of, I can't do this,
Oh my God, I can't wait to share that.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, because I really do think it's hippy-dippy, but self-worth has to come from inside. And I do think it's a chicken-egg situation where you can build your self-worth through accomplishing goals. But if I had attached my self-worth to, let's say, my tattoo career and being an apprentice, like, I'm worthy of being here, it falls under 2 categories. You either A, become an artist with a big ego, or B, you become incredibly fragile and are susceptible to a lot of like self-worth issues because you're attaching yourself to something that's outside of you. And one more thing with goals, I think that we need to detach the idea of deserving them or the idea of being worthy of accomplishing goals. You have to completely detach.
But I think that's where, for me, the like putting in the work, like finding pleasure in the grind, finding pleasure in the fact that it's like, hey, I feel good when I'm working out because I know that like it's good for me instantaneously because it's good for the hormones. And it's good for like the chemicals for me to like then not feel like I'm going stir crazy.
Totally.
But it's also good for my future self because I'm building the insurance of muscle mass, helping with cognitive abilities and helping with independent living throughout my life. And I'm also helping like my future self health-wise so I have less issues. So I think that like because those are in line with my values, I am acting in line with my values. Therefore, my self-worth, like I feel good and I feel like I deserve it because I am living in my values. And I obviously deserve anything that lives within my values. Yeah. And so I think it is all connected, but I think it's through action. I don't think that you can just be like, let me meditate my way to self-worth. I think you have to prove to yourself.
Yeah, it's an ongoing journey thing.
Yeah,
it's kind of
gonna
like
keep doing it.
Classic. You have to fuck around to find out.
Yeah.
Because I think that like when it comes to again, chicken egg situation, when it comes to accomplishing those goals, then all of a sudden you're building that self-worth, right? But to prematurely attach your self-worth to these things, I think it's a recipe for disaster.
Well, I think that you can attach yourself to how you show up.
I love that. Maybe not the results.
Yeah, not the results, but the fact that I'm showing up. So the fact that I'm working out, the fact that I'm doing all that, because it's harder for me to see when it's like, oh, hey, you have like, I came up my time hop where like we've been consistently working out for a fucking decade. And it's so easy for me to be like, oh, hey, why aren't you further along? As opposed to being like, hey, you still do this. This is just a part of who you are at this point.
Oh, I'm getting that too, where it's like I get those like flashbacks of like, oh, this is when I first started CrossFit or whatever. And I'm like, dang, like I could be so much farther along physique wise. I'm not like where I thought I would be, but then also understanding that like, no, how cool is it that you've been doing this plus you've been doing life?
Yeah. Plus you have an entire life.
Yeah.
You have this great physique and this really healthy mentality and you have a career and you have like a close-knit community around you.
Yeah.
Whereas like the people that I then look at and I'm like, wow, look at how fucking jacked they are. I'm like, but you do this for a living.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, that's different.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like they should be proud, absolutely.
Yeah,
but also,
absolutely.
Let's reality check here. Damn.
Yep. Okay, wow. So on that note, what's your win for the week?
My win for the week is, I don't know, I think being honest with all of you about what kind of self-sabotage habits that I have a lot more. I will not share those yet. I'm sure one day we will get there. This was very fitness-centric on accident. But there's a lot of emotional self-sabotage things that I have yet to work through. But I'm still, I feel pretty proud of my progress regardless. So that's my win, is being proud regardless. What is your win for this week?
My win is that I did the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
Because I didn't want to do it. I was grumpy and I'm tired.
Yeah, that's so real.
I'm excited to go back to work. But yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Yeah. We'll see you guys next time. As per usual, please leave us any kind of recommendations, anything you want to hear. And we'll see you next time.
Yep.